Mm,
um, when you're writing your book, when you were playing basketball and things like that. It's the same thing. Like there gets to be a point where like you really look at your life and your goals and your ambitions, and you gotta like take audit of
mm,
what you're doing that's not pushing you towards those goals, right? So
mm.
like, is it going out on the weekend every Saturday, Friday, Saturday? Is it hanging out with these people that may not be the right influence to you or things like that?
Welcome to Q's Health and Wellness Podcast, your source for living a healthier lifestyle and developing a better mind, body, and soul. Through guidance, tips, and stories of highly successful fitness gurus, athletes, and individuals who are passionate about enhancing all aspects of life, we provide you with the tools to help you take your lifestyle to another level. And now your host, Quinn Mitchell.
Welcome to Q's Health and Wellness Podcast. This is your host, Quinn Mitchell. Today I have a very special guest, Brandon Kane. He's a fitness enthusiast and also the co-founder of MFG Solutions. How you doing today?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
No problem. So for people not familiar with you, would you mind giving a brief introduction about yourself?
Yeah, so I grew up, I guess, in a really good family. My parents have always put my brother and I have a twin brother too, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
um, in a position to succeed and grow and things of that nature. So we've been very fortunate to grow up in that way, and I guess at a young age been instilled qualities of you know work ethic and things like that. So um, yeah,
That's awesome. So for people that may not know, me and Brandon also went to the same high school. So it's great reconnecting with you right now as well.
yeah, it's cool to look back at that, and I'm sure we'll touch on that too.
Yes, sir. So the first question I want to ask you is, when did you first start taking your health and wellness seriously?
So when I really got into it, it was really probably a year or so after high school. So I mean, I played sports growing up and things like that, but for me, when I really took it seriously was after high school, and I'm sure a lot of us could relate to like after a breakup or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I really started, I guess, getting into more traditionally lifting and things like that. Um, Nutrition, I guess, follows that because I mean it's a big aspect to, physical
Mm-hmm.
strength and what you want your body to look like and things of that nature. So I guess after high school, um, it was it's something that's always pushed my brother and I, lifting together and having that competitiveness together have always helped us in a way.
Definitely. So when you first started lifting, did you find like a major obstacle that you seen? Maybe was it trying to be consistent or is trying to get into the gym? Like, what was that big obstacle for you, and how did you overcome that?
Hmm. So the biggest obstacle when I first started lifting was probably the knowledge.
Mm.
Um, I mean, we went to a technical high school. Um, Growing up with that, I mean, I've always had this mindset around, okay, how does things work? Like
Mm.
even growing up working like small jobs, like I worked at a clothing store, and I would find myself just on slow days, just like taking shit apart at the register, like looking at things and seeing how it worked and stuff like that, which leads more into my career now around engineering, things like that. But I always wanted to know how things work and how do we do things the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
So not so much of a challenge, but more of like a learning curve and learning aspect to physical fitness was okay, how do I do this lift and perform at my maximum level to get the most results, I guess. So that's something that's really that I'm still always looking for, right? That
Mm-hmm.
um which is cool.
No, definitely. And something I want to touch on also, because I know we went to a technical high school, people really may not understand like how really difficult it was or may be just to have like a career out of a technical high school. Because if you look at me and your stories, it's like I went and played college basketball. Really, if you really think about it, not really many people out of a technical high school go play college or even look at your own self. You have your own business and your own company. So if you don't mind just sharing, like, what are some of the lessons that you learned just from being in that technical high school?
one of the big things I look back on, which I just loved,
Mhm,
which during high school, like you always like you don't see some of the lessons and things like that until you look back at it. But the diversity of the school was I think really awesome
mhm,
and really helped me a lot, um, from a confidence standpoint. Even like
mm,
there's people from all over the state that come there with all different backgrounds, um and that was big for me, I think.
mhm,
um I guess, well, even in high school, like it all comes down to like knowing yourself, I feel like, because even in high school I knew I wasn't gonna like go to like a huge college, a
mhm,
huge 4-year college, and be a doctor or a lawyer, or even I guess say that I was gonna work in a job my whole life.
mhm,
um I always knew that there was something bigger than that for me, to the point where I wanted to own my own business, or, start something of that nature.
mhm. No, and that's awesome because, like I said, just seeing your story now and you have your own company, it's like I don't, Brandon, you know me. I don't really even. I'm not even on the scene like that. But the few connections that I made during high school, I make sure I keep those connections intact. And just watching your story and watching you develop over the years is always something that I've always appreciated about you because you're one of those guys that are very ambitious and always got the job done at the end of the day.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So my next question I have for you, do you have any tips for men that are just starting to work out? Because for a lot of people that don't know that we just talked briefly about before we started the podcast, we talked about that 75-day challenge. And if you look at that picture on your Instagram before, like the before picture and the after picture, it's a drastic change. So would you mind just sharing a little bit about that?
So you'll relate to this too perfectly, but fitness and physical health and working out taught me, and I'm just going to even say us, so much about just life itself, because all those aspects that you take from working out and getting results working out, aka consistency, hard work, and um, the the intensity you put into your workouts and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
is, I believe, all transferable into any other aspect of life, right? Like, you don't get abs by going to the gym twice, right? It all takes consistency and hard work. And when you break it, I guess when you break it down in that way, you kind of get a lot more patient around what you want your goal to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think, and I've learned that so much in everything else, right? Like, you're not going to build a multi-million dollar company overnight, right? Like, just like you're not going to, get abs overnight by going to the gym once. So I guess one thing that I've learned that fitness has taught me is that it's going to take work, and it's not going to be easy, and you have to embrace that and discipline yourself, and and really, like, I guess, dig into what you really want. That's what it all comes down to
Mm-hmm.
for me, and even my brother and I, like, we've talked about that a lot, where it's like, even when we're playing like basketball, we still play pickup ball and stuff like that. It's like, when we're down, we're losing, we're like, all right, who wants it, right? Like, who wants this W? And like, that's what it's about, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
are you willing to do what you need to do to get it done?
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers the question, but
No, definitely does. And one of the things I want to ask you about as well is I seen you posting on your page just waking up at 5 a.m. and that's something I commented on because my mentor had told me about this years ago. So I just started implementing that into my routine now. So what inspired you to start waking up at 5 a.m. and starting getting on your grind with that?
um, so this will tie into that 75 hard program.
Mm-hmm.
So the 75 hard program is it's a mental toughness program. So it's really designed to build those. um well, first off, the guy who created it is the CEO of First Form Nutrition. So it's a supplement nutrition company, um, premium quality stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and he puts out content around entrepreneurship and self development and things like that. And he wanted to put something out that really teaches people how to gain those skills that we're kind of talking about, of like discipline and grit and, confidence and self-esteem, self-belief, things of that nature. And the program has worked wonders for me. So um, the aspects of that program, um, when you're doing that program, and when you're running a business, like you have to be really aware of your time and how you spend your time, and you get it, like who you spend your time with, and really like structuring things in a way where you can efficiently reach your goals and meet your targets for the week, meet your targets for the day, and chip away at that bigger goal of whatever it is for the year, month, stuff like that. So for me, I've found that having, for me, fitness is a necessity in my life where I need to, it makes me feel just better, right? Like
Mm,
I need to get up early. I need to do something, whether it's a walk, whether it's a lift, and get that blood moving inside me, wakes me up for the day, like puts me on the right track and focus for executing of what I need to do at work and things like that. So developing a good routine for yourself is something you learn though, right? Like it wasn't always I was waking up at 5 o'clock hitting the gym. I would do it after work, but I've found that you play with it a little bit, right?
mhm.
Okay, this week I'm gonna wake up at 4:45 every week and hit the gym at 5 o'clock. How does that make my day feel? How do I feel mentally? Like so I've found that for me, at least Monday through Friday, getting up that early and hitting the gym puts me on the right track for the day and sets it up for success. So
Got you. Now, being a successful business owner, I want to ask you just a few questions because a lot of people really don't have the opportunity just to ask these type of questions. So when you first started your business, I know entrepreneurship, I know how it goes. A lot of people see that well, I'm just going to be honest with you. When I first started out with my business, my company, a lot of things people come off as people see me as cocky and arrogant, but as a business owner, you understand that it's never about that. It's always trying to promote yourself because who else is going to promote you at the end of the day? But what are some of the challenges that you face trying to get your business off the ground, and how did you become successful?
yeah, so I've been really fortunate to have a father with a lot of experience within the industry that we work in. We're a contract manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we help companies and take companies who have a um, product or part and things like that, and we develop precision component parts for those people. So industries like the medical, aerospace, commercial industries, things like that. And so yeah, I grew up with him, who is an engineer and now runs companies at a VP level,
Mm-hmm.
um, in similar fields of manufacturing. I've had him to really help mentor me along this way, and after high school, I sat down with him and said, "Hey, like I wanna start something for myself. Like, what can we do?" And we've been able to combine our knowledge, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and 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 get this going. And we've been really fortunate to have connections that he's built over the years to help us find work and things of that nature, and it's been good. I mean, we started it at the house, in my parents' house in their garage 3 years ago, and and that time for me was like such a it's just such an awesome time to look back on, where like I was so new to it, and like it was just like and it still is, but it was just a grind, like every day. Like I'd wake up, just work, and like those were things that um one challenge there was disciplining yourself when no one else is holding you accountable, right? Like having that holding that accountability to yourself to be like, okay, I need to get this shit done today. Like um that was that's a huge thing that I feel like a lot of people um don't have, or like struggle with, is like they need someone to be to push them, or like stuff like that. We touch on that question you were asking.
No, no, you basically answered it because I was asking how you basically how you as an entrepreneur, how you basically got your company off the ground, but you kind of answered that already. And another thing I wanted to ask you as well is because I know you touched on this a little bit before, is your time and how precious that time is. A lot of people don't understand when you're a business owner and the connections that you have with people in the time is very valuable. Like that time can't be wasted. So could you? I know me personally, I have stories about it for days. How I had to cut people off because I had to move into a different circle where even when I was writing my book, I couldn't be around a certain amount of people because I had to get shit done. Could you relate to that at any point in time where you had to take yourself out of those particular situations because the business was more important and how that may have hurt relations, but at the end of the day, it made you a better man at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like you touched on in your book,
Mhm,
um, when you're writing your book, when you were playing basketball and things like that, it's the same thing. Like there gets to be a point where like you really look at your life and your goals and your ambitions, and you gotta like take audit of
mhm,
what you're doing that's not pushing you towards those goals, right? So like, is it going out on the weekend every Saturday, Friday, Saturday? Is it hanging out with these people that may not be the right influence to you or things like that? So, yeah, there's definitely times where relationships have evolved and died out, because of the business or because because my priorities have changed really, right? Like you value your growth, and you don't really value like I said, those things of going out and doing things that aren't pushing you towards that goal of what you have in mind, whether it is fitness, whether it's basketball, whether it's business, whether it's other relationships that you want to develop that are helping that. So yeah,
that,
there's definitely times
mhm,
that's that's happened, and it's I think it's constantly happening. You know, I've seen it. I've 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 seen it recently too. Like
mhm.
relationships die, and it's I think it's just a part of the journey, right?
And the crazy thing is that I want to emphasize on that is because I can relate to you because we're kind of in the same field where we're okay with relationships down. We're not losing any sleeps because somebody doesn't like us or somebody wants to spend more time with us because we understand at the end of the day where we're headed and our goals and our passions, where they're going to take us. A lot of people, they're not comfortable with letting those kind of situations go, so they often double down on those, and then basically they put their dreams and goals on the back burner. But as I can relate to you, we that's never happened.
Right. And that's a hard thing to accept sometimes, but I always look at it like it's never dead. Maybe it's not going to be what it used to be, but you could always pick up the phone and be like, "Yo, dude, what's up? Like, let's go
Yeah.
do something," right? So, um, yeah, and like you gotta know that the right relationships will evolve as well, right? Like, you keep on your grind, you keep hustling, like you're gonna build the right relationships along the way,
Mm.
and you'll find those relationships that help what you're doing.
Yeah, so how do you personally balance out going to the gym, have running your own business? Because I know it can be a lot to handle. Because I know for me, sometimes I'm working 50 hours a week, and I'm coming home working out. Like I literally have to be on a time schedule. So how do you personally balance it all out?
Yeah, so I guess there is a freedom in owning your own business. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, you're self-employed, like you have all this time, but you don't have all this time.
Yeah.
But you do, but you can structure that time in a way that works best for you,
Hmm.
rather than if I work somewhere else and your time is you have X amount of time devoted
Hmm.
that needs to be work. Um, Now I've mainly structured my time within a normal work day, of getting my stuff done before work and things like that. It's not like I'm taking work off to go to the gym or anything like that. But yeah,
But do you like write down your schedule or do you just go by day?
right, yeah. So yeah, I do write down my schedule every single day, or usually the night before. I write down critical things that I need to get done that day,
Hmm.
and I have two lists. I have a personal list of, you know, workout at 5 a.m. Um, what my diet's going to be and things like that, make sure I'm
Mhm.
clean on my diet. And then I have work goals that I establish every day with my team here, but also for myself of we need to get X done today. And I really, I think that's the key, right? I don't overwhelm myself. Usually it's 5 goals, personal and professional. And that's one thing I've learned. Is don't overwhelm yourself with writing like 15 goals down a day or 20 goals down, because if that's going to be hard to sustain. Like maybe there are days where you can get all that done,
Mhm.
but that'll be hard to sustain like over a longer period of time. So I feel like writing 3 to 5 critical things down that just tick the needle forward every single day is how you can establish those wins with yourself, right? Like when you get everything done on your list, you win the day, right? That's one thing I've learned from someone that's been a really big mentor.
Mhm.
Um, and uh, and one thing I've also held myself to is um, like you don't go to bed until you get those goals done. So like there's days where like especially on the 75 hard program, like it's the same thing. Like you don't go to bed until you get all 5 tasks of that program done. And if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you still have an outdoor workout to do, then guess what? You're outside at 2 o'clock in the morning. Or
Yeah.
so yeah, I write down my goals for the day, and we have weekly stuff we review, and we have monthly targets we have to hit as well. So I'm
Mhm.
always talking to my father and my team and really making sure priorities are aligned here. Like there's plenty of times where we get rush work in through us where we have to pivot and adjust and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, so keeping a good list of things down where you can, for me, where you can see everything that needs to be done and take a look at it and say, okay, this is what's happening. This is what needs to change. Blah blah blah.
Mhm.
That's helped me a lot.
No, definitely. And is there one specific thing that you could key point and say this, like doing this one thing that you can share with our listeners that has made you successful that they can apply to their life as well?
I think I think that list aspect of what
Mm.
I said has helped me tremendously and has helped build confidence within yourself as well. Like
Mhm.
um, one thing on a broader task, on a broader subject, is like which has helped me, which is something I've learned through that program as well. Like I'm gonna keep going back to that program because it's helped me so much. But doing the things you tell yourself you're gonna do, like
Mm.
that's a huge part. If people did that more, I'm sure you'd see crazy results in how you feel personally, but also the results that monetize around you, right? Right, like, and what I mean by that is like if you tell yourself you're gonna go to the gym, go to the gym. Like so many people are like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna eat right today, and then they fuck up and they lie to themselves, and that ultimately like hurts your self confidence and hurts your self esteem and your belief in yourself. So one thing, and that's hard, right? Like
Mhm.
that's hard stuff that you have to work on, but that's something that I learned a while ago that really helps protect yourself.
Mhm.
So when there are hard times and when we are going through a pandemic and stuff like that, like
Mhm.
you have those habits in place where you can revert back to when things are tough, right? Like so if you don't have those habits, like you talked about it, I listened to it in one of your podcasts, like there's going to be two people that come out of this pandemic, right? Like you're either gonna okay, this is the time to slack off and binge watch Netflix all day because you're laid off or you have this time or you're collecting unemployment, or you're gonna be like, okay, like this is what's happened, this is where I am, and this is still where I want to go, and you're gonna execute and you're gonna get shit done, and you're gonna come out better than what you went into this as. And I think that little tip and disciplining yourself and creating those habits is what helps you in those hard times, right? Like when things are tough, you revert back to your habits. So if your habits are sitting on the couch and being lazy and stuff like that, then it's not good, right?
Yes, and I definitely appreciate you sharing that words of wisdom. And the last question I want to ask you, I don't know if you remember anything from high school. 'Cause I know we played a whole senior year together. I was just going to ask because it just came across my mind. Is there any particular story that you remember from playing basketball with us back in high school,
Particular story.
or a particular moment during that time? Because I know
Um,
that year was rough for us.
dude, I wish you always wish you can go back to high school with like the mentality you have now. We would destroy as a team right now. But I always remember like after games or like this goes against like everything like I've learned now, but like we would like eat McDonald's and shit before games. And like after games, we would go to McDonald's and just like buy like $20 worth of McDonald's. That's stuff I think about. I think about the little stuff too
Mhm.
of like hyping each other up in the locker rooms and shit like that, and finding that team aspect of like you know getting together and things like that.
So, and the crazy thing is, Brandon, while I be thinking about it, it's like a lot of people really don't understand, like being in technical high school, it's like the sports aren't really taken seriously there, but it gets to a point in time where you have those few individuals like me and yourself and a few other people that we really wanted to win at certain points in time. So there'll be games where we really have to break down each moment and play and think, how can we capitalize on this and get a win? Because, like I said, am I lying, Brandon? There's dudes that was out there that they just wanted to play basketball at the end of the day. They literally just, and they were people on the team. I got like no problem with, but they were literally just there just to fill out a roster spot. So when they
Yeah,
got in the game, they had no ambition to drive. So it was like our job to try to get them to find some motivation to actually play and win.
to be a leader and things like that. Yeah. And I can even say for myself back then, like I didn't have that fully in me then. I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you can recall, like definitely in high school was a lack of confidence stage for myself, and basketball helped a lot with that, though. I mean, so but yeah, that was huge.
Yes, and then the last question I want to ask you is, how do you basically, oh, what is something you're most grateful for?
I think family comes to first is the first thing that pops into my mind. And it's something I think about every day. And it's something that fuels me. I think, right? Like you, I think this is maybe a little cliche, but you hear this, but you can't be grateful and upset at the same time, right? Like so, my family for sure. I mean, for the position that they've been able to put me in to grow and fill out my dreams and ambitions and work towards myself. Um, my gratitude towards them and and having that support has really helped me out a lot.
Let's say, and this question that popped in my head: what is your daily routine like? Because I know you wake up at 5 a.m. sometimes. I know it could be a busy schedule. So, what is a daily routine like for Brandon Kane on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so I mean, routines change and evolve, but right now my routine is getting up at 4:45. Um, I've been lucky to have a gym right next to my shop right here, so
Mm-hmm.
I live 5 minutes from here. So I get up at 4:45. I get there by 5 o'clock Monday through Friday. Get at least a 45-minute workout in. Right now it's CrossFit, which is something new to me in the last few months. Um, I get done there around 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I head home, get all cleaned up, ready for work, and then I get specific meals prepped for the day. Right now, I'm disciplining myself pretty hard to stay within a certain amount of macros.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I get my meals prepped, and then I get here around 7:30, 8 o'clock every day. Um, we have targeted goals that we complete throughout the day, and some days we're here. Sometimes we get extra work in. Some days we're here where we need to stay till 6, 7 o'clock. But usually it's a normal day. But I mean, for someone who owns their own business, that it never stops
Mm-hmm.
at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Like we're always thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, excuse me, right now when I'm out after work, um, I have to get an outdoor workout in as well. So usually it's a light cardio, low intensity cardio. outside, whether it's on the track or going for a walk somewhere or a nice bike ride somewhere. And then reading. Reading has been a huge part of my life in the last few years, which has helped me tremendously. So getting at least 10 pages of reading in a day of something that I'm going to learn from. So business book, relationship book,
Mhm.
something I'm going to learn from, nonfiction.
Mhm.
And then usually around that time, I'm trying to right now with that morning routine and everything. I'm trying to get to bed by no later than 10 o'clock. So
Mhm.
usually in bed then. And what else? And that's about it.
Hey, but just within that routine within itself, for the people that's listening, it's very structured, and this is something
Structured.
that all of the successful people that I know, they have a structured daily routine, and then within those time frames, if like basically my mentor Monday through Friday, he has no extracurricular activities. I mean, he has a wife and kids, but other outside of that, he's very structured. Like you say, he wakes up at 5 a.m., goes do the routine, and he has a whole calendar link where he literally types in everything that has to do. So just hearing your structure is like you're on a great path to success, and I appreciate you coming on the show, my man.
I appreciate it, dude. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Q's Health and Wellness Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe or to leave us a review on iTunes or the listening platform of your choice. Also, please check us out at QuinnMitchellII.com, as well as find us on Instagram for more useful content and resources.